A Resume and Cover Letter Guide. Chapter 1. Resume Guide. Resume Info 1. Employers want to hire people who can do the job and people who are like themselves personally, in short, people they like and can work with. To weed out the people they want from the chaff, they use resumes, application forms, written tests, performance tests, medical examinations and interviews. Gone are the days when a generic resume and a generic cover letter were enough to get you an interview. For all you people going to school out there, don't expect that so-called advanced degree to get you that interview or that job. Always orient your resume to your future, not your past. Unless it's in a technical skill, employers know that all the liberal arts/business degrees don't hold a candle to real, live job experience, street smarts, intuition and proven success. Such things as PhDs are limited to research and teaching jobs. Business employers don't want you because they basically feel that you're an arrogant, naive snot. They think that they won't be able to satisfy your big ego. Sometimes it's better not to even say you have a PhD if you're applying for a practical job. If parts of your background might not look good on your resume, like a gap of 1 year when you were unemployed, you could say you started your own consulting firm or other business that you worked for during that time gap. Be prepared to have letterheads or business cards printed up to make this seem real in case potential employers want proof. Or if your uncle owns a company, ask him to give you a reference stating what a valuable employee you were for him during that period. Don't down me for unethical behavior. Everybody with savior fare helps themselves. It's just the way it is. Remember that the point of your resume is to present yourself in the best way possible, and unless you need to be bonded or get a security clearance for your new job, many companies don't check job histories very thoroughly except for perhaps your most recent one. If you get laid off or simply want to live an interesting life, do something interesting like volunteer to help the Aborigines in Australia, hike the Himalayas, sit in a temple with Hindus, or do an archaeological dig in Rome for 3 months. Put it on your resume. It may be the one novel thing that will get you an interview. The new concept they got nowadays is what they call the objective statement. It's like the tagline of an email. It's supposed to be you in one statement at the top of the resume. Your resume must be outstanding to stand above the rest. Go for a nice, brownish, eggshell paper. Lie a little. Say you care about life and people. Absolutely no spelling or grammar mistakes are tolerable. Get a proofreader. Keep it short and sweet. The big thing today is technology. Get an email address and a fax number because it makes you look like a pro, and since this is now a common way to send out resumes, the cute brownish paper doesn't really matter and you save bundles on postage. On your resume, right under your address, prominently write your email address and fax number. Focus on the employer, not on yourself. Match your qualifications with their needs. Tailor your resume to the specific job. An executive summary is you selling yourself in 60 words or 3 lines. If you had a lot of different jobs, get rid of the irrelevant ones when you're tailoring the resume for a specific job. Your achievements and education. Show some white/empty space in the resume. Focus on the employer, what you can do for him. This is why people say to tailor your resume for every company you're applying to. Try an executive summary, a 60-word summary about your objective and selling points. Emphasize what you're good at. Tailor your resume to the company or organization you're applying to. Creating a resume for a government job is different than creating a resume for a for-profit company. Emphasize your accomplishments and education. You should be able to get corporate email addresses and fax numbers from any of the many business directories out there to help you find corporate addresses. Your resume is more about catering to the needs of the employer rather than saying how cute and nice you are as a person. Companies want specialists, not generalists, therefore you must tailor your resume to suit their needs. That's the golden rule of finding a job. They get hundreds of generic resumes which go right into the garbage. Research is the big deal in your quest for work, because if you take the time to research every company you're applying to, then tailor your resume and cover letter to reflect this fact with a few tidbits of information and a few names like the name of the boss or the personnel manager, you're separating yourself from all the generic crud out there and showing them that you at least give a damn enough to try a little harder. They're aware of all these things. Your interview will also go a lot smoother if you can rap a little about the company and show interest. A manager for IBM was interviewing someone and asked him what the letters in IBM, International Business Machines, stood for. When the guy didn't know, the interview was over. Many resumes are now being scanned by computers looking for main keywords relevant to the position, so fill your resume up with those specific keywords. Resume info 2. The two biggest abilities you can and must show regardless of whether you're a young fluff or an old-timer are computer literacy and internet knowledge. Not only do you write these on your resume, but these tools are a big ally in your research for your job search. You can buy CD-ROMs that are databases for just about every corporation in America. You can buy a phone book CD-ROM which has the breakdown of names and phone numbers of the infrastructure of many major corporations. There are database websites with this information on them too. On your resume, always write in that you're currently exploring a new type of business/office software. Put a short sentence at the beginning of the resume stating the kind of job you're looking for. Don't go all over the place, keep the resume focused on one area, lean and clean. Don't overwrite it. Leave white, empty spaces to make it look uncluttered. Don't use first-person and third-person pronouns. Don't use I, they know the resume is about you, and don't refer to yourself as he or she. Use active delivery over past tense. Show that you're flexible and willing to learn new ways. Omit the negative things like illness, criminal record, substance abuse, mental illness, quitting, getting fired, etc. The Americans with Disabilities Act gives you the right not to disclose disabilities unless they would affect the job directly or you would need special accommodations. Wait until you get the job to tell them. If you were a housewife, don't be ashamed of it. Put it on your resume along with all the things you did during your stint, like led a pack of Girl Guides, taught Sunday school, etc. Resumes are required for professional, technical, administrative, and managerial jobs, sales positions, secretarial, clerical, and other office jobs. Resumes are sometimes required for skilled jobs, baker, hotel clerk, electrician, drafter, welder. Resumes are not required for unskilled, quick turnover jobs, fast food server, laborers, machine loader, cannery worker, etc. Some employers are wary of former business owners because they think they're too independent, or else think the guy just wants to learn the ropes of the business and then quit after 6 months to start his own. Ask people permission to use them as references before you put their names on a resume, and since they're busy anyway, offer to write them your own reference as a guide which they can fine-tune and sign. Gather specific information about the jobs you are applying for. You need to know the pay range, education and experience usually required, hours and shifts usually worked, etc. Most importantly, you need to know the job duties so that you can describe your experience in terms of those duties. Study the job description. Some job announcements, especially those issued by a government, even have a checklist that assigns a numerical weight to different qualifications so that you can be certain as to which is the most important. Looking at such announcements will give you an idea of what employers look for, even if you do not wish to apply for a government job. If the announcement or ad is vague, call the employer to learn what is sought. Once you have the information you need, you can prepare a resume. You may need to prepare more than one master resume if you are going to look for different kinds of jobs, otherwise your resume will not fit the job you seek. Type your resume using a standard Times Roman typeface. Keep the length down to 2 pages at the most. Describe yourself as a wow, phantasmic, incredible, great person. Leave all embarrassing or negative information off the resume, but be ready to deal with it in a positive fashion at the interview. Again, cater it to them, not you, but state clearly where you want to go, what kind of job you want. It's an advertisement for you. Keep sentences simple. Style is everything. It must look good. Minimize weaknesses. Proofread the master copy carefully. Use the best quality photocopying machine and a crisp brown or grayish thick paper. The following information appears on almost every resume. Your name, address and phone number as the header centered on top. Job or career sought. Education. Work experience, starting with most recent. Military, government. Education, starting with most recent. Languages. Computer skills. Patents, publications, awards. Association membership. Volunteer work. Office machines, tools, and equipment you have used. Skills. Lifestyle activities. Other qualifications, hobbies, organizations you belong to, honors you have received and leadership positions you have held. Personal information. Height, weight, marital status, physical condition. Although this information appears on many resumes, it is not important according to recruiters. In fact, employers are prohibited by law from asking for some of it. If some of this information is directly job-related, the height and weight of a bouncer is important to a disco owner, for example, list it. Otherwise, save space and put in more information about your skills. If you're attractive and really want the job, include your photograph. Other information, such as your social security number, is often asked for on application forms but is rarely presented on resumes. Application forms might also ask for a record of past addresses and for information that you would rather not reveal, such as a record of convictions. If asked for such information, be honest. Honesty does not, however, require that you reveal disabilities that do not affect your overall qualifications for a job. Include the phrase references provided on request. Often just a statement that references are available is enough. If your references are likely to be known by the person who reads the resume, however, their names are worth listing. The way you arrange your resume depends on how well your experience seems to prepare you for the position you want. Basically, you can either describe your most recent job first and work backwards or group similar skills together. No matter which format you use specifics. A vague description of your duties will make only a vague impression. Identify accomplishments. If you headed a project, improved productivity, reduced costs, increased membership, or achieved some other goal, say so. You need two different kinds of information, facts about yourself and facts about the job you want. There are generally 4 types of resumes. Reverse chronology. Function, ability and skills. Hybrid of the above two. Portfolio. Reverse chronology is simply jobs worked from present to past. If you're an old-timer, you might not want to appear too old by only listing the past 10 to 15 years of your work history. Function is listing your skills, capabilities, awards, honors, etc. A hybrid combines the two. A portfolio is often used for artistic or creative abilities, such as an advertising person might put together a few of their best projects, an architect, his best plans, a graphic designer his best drawings, etc. There's no set formulas for resumes. Books have been written about this simple piece of text. Just keep it brief and do it your way. Say something about your religious commitment, like you went to a religious school or currently belong to a religious organization. Make your resume your way as you see fit to shed the best light on you. Reverse chronology is the easiest method to use. It is also the least effective because it makes when you did something more important than what you can do. It is an especially poor format if you have gaps in your work history, if the job you seek is very different from the job you currently hold, or if you are just entering the job market. About the only time you would want to use such a resume is when you have progressed up a clearly defined career ladder and want to move up a rung. Resumes that are not chronological may be called functional, analytical, skill-oriented, creative, or some other name. The differences are less important than the similarity, which is that all stress what you can do. The employer can see immediately how you will fit the job. This format also has advantages for many job hunters because it camouflages gaps in paid employment and avoids giving prominence to irrelevant jobs. You begin writing a functional resume by determining the skills the employer is looking for. Again, study the job description for this information. Next, review your experience and education to see when you demonstrated the ability sought. Then prepare the resume itself, putting first the information that relates most obviously to the job. The result will be a resume with headings such as engineering, computer languages, communications skills, or design experience. These headings will have much more impact than the dates that you would use on a chronological resume. Resume Info 3. Your CV and resume are selling documents. Take your time on them. If you really want the job, tailor each one you send out to the company from the point of view of a real person reading it and a computer scanning it for keywords. Use a simple, easy-to-read format. Don't waste space. Not too much white space. Don't write too much text. People don't like self-centered people. There is a fine art to selling yourself without looking like a braggart. Act like a decent, morally good, helpful, polite person. It's much better than arrogance. Don't use too many self-centered descriptive words about yourself. It's all about what you can do for them, not what they can do for you. Don't say something like you're a skier and want to move there because of the great ski areas nearby. You're there to work. When they ask what is your biggest shortcoming, say I'm a workaholic. You're dedicated to your job. You have the religious work ethic. Say what you have to say in as few words as possible. Make your resume look good. Use nice paper. Spacing is important. Break the info up into meaningful chunks. Use keywords, terms, and headings that they are looking for, like the job title. It's about skills. The more skills you can write down, the better you look. A skill is anything practical related to the job. It's not pole dancing or skiing. We live in a weird world right now. I was brought up as a Catholic Christian. We were told to be modest, but modesty does not seem to be encouraged in a capitalist world. A capitalist world is actually evil because it's about competition for money. You have to assess what qualities the job you're looking for entails and the people you will be dealing with. If you want to be a machinist, there is no need for cutthroat arrogance. You can slow down, but for many jobs in capitalist land, they're looking for the loudmouth arrogant psychopaths because they can get them to do almost anything. Set your priorities and live by them. If you want to go Machiavellian, go all the way. Personally, I think anyone who sells their soul for money and power knows they're a scumbag. I want to feel good about myself, so I refuse to be a greedy pig. I've been around a little bit from military college at 17 to capitalist scumbags throughout my life. The world of business and money is always going to be full of evil scumbags, but there are plenty of old-fashioned people with traditional values there too. You can make it in most fields by being a decent person. If you can't be a scumbag, don't get into sales. When a person's paycheck is tied into making the sale, they don't see people as decent customers. They see them as money. I never trust any salesperson ever. Document your achievements and your past experience and skills without coming off like an asshole. Attract attention. Have interesting, relevant information. The resume must be easy to read. Break it up with bullet points. Keep it sharp and factual. A resume will usually contain about 6 different topics of information. Personal information. Education and qualifications. Additional training. Career history. Skills and experience. Languages. An optional profile. Bosses want conformist, punctual problem solvers with good attitudes. Your CV is your brochure. Resume Info 4. The following rules apply to all resumes. Keep the length down to 2 pages at the most. Remember your mother's advice not to say anything if you cannot say something nice. Do not criticize anybody or anything. Leave all embarrassing or negative information off the resume, but be ready to deal with it in a positive fashion at the interview. Proofread the master copy carefully. Have someone else proofread the master copy carefully. Have a third person proofread the master copy carefully. Use the best quality photocopying machine/printer and good paper. If possible, use Resume software to prepare your resume. There are computer programs that make it easy to produce a professional-looking resume. Your local school, library, employment service, local office or print shop can help. Do not include irrelevant personal information, age, weight, height, marital status, etc. Do not include salary and wages. Center or justify all headings. Don't use abbreviations. Be positive. Identify accomplishments. Use action verbs. Be specific. Use concise sentences. Keep it short. Inspect photocopies for clarity, smudges and marks. Action verbs give your resume power and direction. Try to begin all skills statements with an action verb. Here is a sample of action verbs for different types of skills. Management skills: administered, analyzed, coordinated, developed, directed, evaluated, improved, supervised. Technical skills: assembled, built, calculated, designed, operated, overhauled, remodeled, repaired. Clerical skills: arranged, catalogued, complied, generated, organized, processed, systematized. Creative skills: conceptualized, created, designed, established, fashioned, illustrated, invented, performed. Financial skills: administered, analyzed, balanced, budgeted, forecast, marketed, planned, projected. Helping skills: assessed, coached, counseled, diagnosed, facilitated, represented. Research skills: clarified, evaluated, identified, inspected, organized, summarized. Communications skills: arranged, addressed, authored, drafted, formulated, persuaded. Once a resume is completed, it can be fed into the talent bank now available in many local government job service offices. The bank is an electronically searchable database of resumes or other statements of qualifications from job hunters seeking employment. Those searching for jobs or new opportunities can post their resume/qualifications to the bank. Employers search the banks to select a group of resumes for further screening, but don't count on it though. That's only one of many outlets to look for a job. Resume info at jobstars.com/understanding-your-resumes-audience. Build a resume that gets you an interview. The easiest rule is what can I do for them, not what can they do for me. A resume audience has two parts. The applicant tracking system/ATS. A human being. The ATS analyzes the resume vs the job requirements. There are many ATS software like Applicant Stack, Breezy HR, Brightmove, Bullhorn, IBM Watson Talent, Greenhouse Software, ICIMS Recruit, Jazz HR, Jobsoid, Jobvite, Lever, Newton, RecruiterBox, Smart Recruit, The Applicant Manager, Viver, Workday, Zoho Recruit. They all look for relevant keywords and phrases. If you pass that, a human looks at your resume to skills and the ability to be team player, to get along with people. You need a certain amount of skill, but the X factor is your ability to get along with people at work. Dead recent space on a resume gets it tossed. Employers know that the longer anyone is out of work, the more likely they are to be terrible employees. The longer you are unemployed, the less anyone wants you. Put something on your resume for right now, no matter what it is. It could be a job or part-time job in an unrelated field. It could be that you're an independent contractor advertising yourself on guru.com and elance.com. Create a LinkedIn profile posing as consultant for hire. Do anything to fill the dead space on your resume. Get experience for your resume. Experience is anything, activity or skill. It could be things like admissions ambassadors, athletics or club sports, choir or band, community service, volunteer work, honor societies, internships, orientation leaders, part-time employment, work-study, resident assistants, service learning, sororities or fraternities administration, professional organizations, student activities, student government, student media, study abroad, theater, tutor, research. Do summer jobs and part-time jobs in your field. Do job shadowing. Learn skills you can use on the job. Do something where you participate as part of a team to show that you're a team player. The more you participate, the more you network. Power words for resumes: accomplished, accurate, achieved, acted, action-oriented, active, adaptable, adapted, adaptive, addressed, adjusted, administer, administered, advanced, adventurous, advise, advised, affectionate, aggressive, allocated, ambitious, analytical, analyzed, appraised, approved, arbitrated, arranged, artistic, assembled, assertive, assessed, assigned, assisted, astute, attained, attentive, audit, audited, authentic, authored, authorized, balanced, bold, broad-minded, budget, budgeted, built, businesslike, calculated, calm, candid, capable, careful, caring, catalogued, cautious, cheered, charming, cheerful, clarified, classified, clear-headed, clerical, clever, coached, collaborated, collected, combine, communicate, communicated, communication, competent, competitive, compile, compiled, completed, complex, composed, computed, conceptualized, conducted, confident, conscientious, conservative, considerate, consistent, consolidated, contracted, convinced, cooperative, coordinated, corresponded, counsel, counseled, courageous, create, created, creative, critiqued, curious, customized, daring, decisive, delegated, deliberate, delivered, demanding, demonstrated, demystified, dependable, designed, detail-oriented, detailed, determined, developed, devised, diagnosed, dignified, diligent, diplomatic, directed, disciplined, discreet, dispatched, displayed, dominant, drafted, dynamic, eager, easygoing, edited, educated, efficient, emotional, empathetic, employed, enabled, encouraged, energetic, engineered, enhanced, enjoy challenges, enlarged, enlisted, enterprising, enthusiastic, equipped, established, evaluate, evaluated, examined, executed, expanded, expedited, explained, exploratory, expressive, extracted, fabricated, facilitated, fair-minded, familiarized, fashioned, filed, financial, firm, flexible, forceful, forecasted, forgiving, formal, formulated, founded, frank, friendly, furthered, gained, generated, generous, gentle, goal-oriented, good with figures, good-natured, growth-oriented, guided, handled, healthy, helped, helpful, helping, honest, humorous, idealistic, identified, illustrated, imaginative, implemented, improved, improved, impulsive, increased, independent, individualistic, industrious, influenced, informal, informed, initiated, innovative, inspected, inspiring, instituted, instructed, integrated, integrity, intellectual, intelligent, interpersonal, interpreted, interviewed, introduced, introspective, intuitive, invented, inventive, investigate, investigated, kind, launched, lead, leadership, learned, lectured, led, leisurely, light-hearted, likable, located, logical, loyal, maintained, managed, marketed, mature, maximized, mediated, methodical, meticulous, mild, moderate, moderated, modest, modified, monitored, motivated, motivational, negotiated, objective, obliging, observant, open-minded, operated, opportunistic, optimistic, ordered, orderly, organized, original, originated, outgoing, overhauled, oversaw, paid, painstaking, patient, perceptive, performed, persevering, persistent, personable, persuaded, pioneered, planned, planned, playful, pleasant, poised, polite, positive, practical, precise, prepared, presented, prioritized, processed, produced, productive, professional, programmed, progressive, projected, promoted, proud, provided, prudent, publicized, punctual, purchased, purposeful, quick, quiet, rational, realistic, reasonable, recommended, reconciled, recorded, recruit, recruited, reduced, referred, reflective, rehabilitated, relaxed, reliable, remodeled, repaired, reported, represented, research, researched, reserved, resolved, resourceful, resourceful, respectful, responsible, restored, retiring, retrieved, reviewed, revised, revitalized, robust, romantic, scheduled, screened, seek adventures, self-confident, self-controlled, self-reliant, seller, sensible, sensitive, serious, served, set goals, set up, shaped, sharp-minded, sharp-witted, simplified, sincere, skeptical, sociable, solved, speaker, spearheaded specified, spoke, spontaneous, stable, steady, stimulated, strengthened, strong, strong-willed, structured, summarized, supervised, supported, supportive, surveyed, sympathetic, systematic, systematized, tabulated, tactful, taught, teachable, teacher, teaching, team player, team-oriented, technical, tenacious, thorough, thoughtful, thrifty, tolerant, tough, traditional, trained, transformed translated, trusting, trustworthy, truthful, typed, unaffected, unassuming, understanding, unexcitable, uninhibited, updated, upgraded, validated, verbal, versatile, visionary, warm, wise, witty, writer, wrote. Action verb websites for resumes. writeexpress.com/action-verbs.html. quintycareers.com/action_verbs.html. online.onetcenter.org, look through occupation descriptions. List of positive, desirable personality traits. Achievement. Ambition. Appreciation. Believe in yourself. Caring. Character. Class and grace. Commitment. Common ground. Compassion. Confidence. Courage. Courtesy. Dedication. Determination. Devotion. Encouragement. Excellence. Foresight. Forgiveness. Friendship. Generosity. Giving back. Gratitude. Hard work. Helping others. Honesty. Hope. Humility. Ingenuity. Inspiration. Integrity. Laughter. Leadership. Learning. Listening. Live life. Live your dreams. Love. Loyalty. Making a difference. Motivation. Opportunity. Optimism. Overcoming. Patience. Peace. Perseverance. Persistence. Preparation. Reaching out. Respect. Responsibility. Right choices. Rising above. Sacrifice. Sharing. Soul. Sportsmanship. Spread your wings. Stewardship. Strength. Teaching by example. Teamwork. True beauty. Trust. Unity. Vision. Volunteering. Using references info. Your list of references should be a range of both personal friends and professional people. If you know a lot of people, tailor your references for the particular job you're applying for. Tell the people you plan to use as references so they know if they get a call out of the blue. You have to get their permission. Make sure you pick people who will hype you up. List a few at the end of the resume. Pick people that you think might make good references for the particular job. Skills and competencies/scans. The U.S. Department of Labor, DOL.gov, has compiled a list of baseline skills and competencies that describe the various types of skill sets used in the world of work in general. You can use the following list for two purposes. To help you identify what you're good at, To use as descriptors when writing your resume. The foundation competency requirements. Basic skills. Reading, writing, arithmetic, mathematics, speaking, listening, thinking skills, thinking creatively, making decisions, solving problems, seeing things in the mind's eye, knowing how to learn, reasoning, personal qualities, individual responsibility, self-esteem, sociability, self-management, integrity. Competencies effective workers can productively use. Allocating time, money, materials, space, staff, interpersonal skills, information, working on teams, teaching others, serving customers, leading, negotiating, working well with people from culturally diverse backgrounds. Technology. Acquiring and evaluating data, organizing and maintaining files, interpreting and communicating using computers to process information. Systems. Understanding social, organizational, and technological systems, monitoring and correcting performance, designing or improving systems. Technology. Selecting equipment and tools, applying technology to specific tasks, maintaining and troubleshooting technologies. Create a resume website that profiles you. A lot of people design a website about themselves. It's their internet resume. The name of it is usually their name, like john-s.smith.com. They put up who they are and might even put some video in it. Beware that this video could end up on an embarrassing video website. Be careful about hyping yourself up too much. There is a fine point between describing your strengths and abilities and coming off like a deluded, arrogant narcissist. Don't go with a free hosting service where you get an ugly-looking domain name like freehosting.com/JoeNerd. Spend a few bucks for either a cool domain name like fortranwizkid.com or your name joenerd.com. Also, don't make it easy for identity theft cheats. Do not put your date of birth or SSN on the website. Once you have your website, add the name to your business card, resume, and cover letters. If you're self-conscious about people you know seeing it, don't put your full name anywhere on it so that it won't come up on an online search. Some of the so-called experts say put up pictures, a slideshow, a PowerPoint presentation and video about yourself. I say keep it businesslike. Don't go overboard. Slideshare.net, slideshow. ResumeWriting.net. Resume professionals for hire/resume services. There are probably thousands of resume professionals that will write your resume for a fee. Just type resume writer, name of your town, into any search engine. nrwa.com, 888 NRUA 444, National Resume Writers Association. nrwa.com/ncrw, Certified Resume Writers. prwa.com, 800-225-8688, Professional Resume Writing. SusanIreland.com/writers, list of resume writers for hire. Cheap resume service websites from jobstars.com/cheap-resume-services. $5resume-today.com. cheapfastresumes.com. Chapter 2. E-resumes, email resumes. What is an e-resume? The term e-resume has two meanings. 1. Your resume in a computer file as opposed to a hard copy resume made out of paper that you send out by email. 2. An e-resume website, more popularly called a resume bank, is a website where you put your e-resume on along with thousands of other people with the hope that some employer will look through them, find yours, be impressed, then call you up for an interview. The e-resume or electronic resume is your resume in electronic format such that you can email it to prospective employers as is without the need for paper entry. An e-resume is necessarily simple and plain. The content of electronic resumes is different from a hard copy resume in the sense that a machine scans the resumes the company has and spits out the ones that have the keyword or key term the operator types in, just like you would do a search on a search engine. Format your electronic resume as simple as possible in text only or rich text format. You look for job ads in your field, then add a few keywords from that ad into your resume, then email it to the particular company. You can create both a word processing e-resume and a PDF format resume using the Adobe Acrobat program, adobe.com. I've seen freeware programs that convert text between a Word program and PDF. Only send the PDF resume if they want it. Most want a Word format resume so they can scan it for the keywords they're looking for. When applying for a job online, the company's website usually tells you to paste your resume here. Copy your resume, highlight it, then press Ctrl+C on the keyboard or copy with the mouse, position your cursor on the website, then press paste on the mouse or Ctrl+V on the keyboard. If the job ad states no attachments, put your resume in the body of your email. It shouldn't be longer than a page anyway. Right after a short cover letter. Title the subject line of your email as the job position ending with job ad, like forensics lawyer job ad. Use the internet to look for companies who you might want to work for and send an e-resume by email along with a cover letter to their HR department. If you talk to them on the phone or send them a letter and they send one back, you can quickly email them a copy of your resume. If you use MS Word or WordPerfect, most of the time you can send your resume in that format without any problems, but if you want extra safety, press the Save As button, then save the file either as rich text format /RTF or ASCII, which can be read by any word processing program out there. Think of the PDF format as sending a picture. Your resume appears like a photo. You can get this format through the free Adobe Acrobat program, adobe.com. When responding to a job ad that does not want attachments, include the resume as part of your original email message. Some large companies want e-resumes because they can scan them with keywords and pick out the ones that contain these keywords they're looking for. The key is to guess what keywords they're looking for and make them a part of your e-resume. This is a way for employers and human resources to get through the clutter of all the resumes they get in order to find the few they're interested in. Think of doing a search on a search engine. If you use one word like welder, you might get a million hits. If you use the term underwater welder with A2 experience, you will narrow it down by a lot. If you select all these, then add a qualifier of 5 or more years experience, you will further narrow down your field. This is how e-resumes work. It's easy with optical character recognition /OCR software. The computer scans the resumes for the keywords and phrases the employer wants. You have to use the right keywords in your resume to get picked for further scrutiny. They punch in the keywords they want and reduce a massive list down into a few resumes, then choose from there. Loosely defined, there are generally two types of digital resumes. E-resumes, those that can be emailed or posted to a website. Scannable resumes, the paper resume that you send for a job application, then some person at that company, usually a lowly clerk in the human resources department, scans it into the computer in order that it be searched along with all the other resumes for keywords, such that the resumes with those keywords in them are the ones that get spit out for further scrutiny. For you, the job seeker, these resumes must be designed to have as many salient keywords for your profession as possible. Some corporations like email resumes and fax resumes, some don't. If you're advanced, you can get your own website and put your resume there. Go to occ.com for a referral to a professional web resume service. You could send out cover letters and refer them to your website, which could be your name, like marcopolo.com for more info, or you could get an autoresponder, which is kind of like sending a cover letter, and if they want your resume, they type in resume at marcopolo.com and get your resume automatically emailed to them. At the very least, get an email resume in addition to a paper one. For most standard transactions, put your resume in ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchanges, and fill it with plenty of keywords that the search engines employers use when looking to fill their positions. There are several ways to look for jobs. Firstly, you will most likely post this resume onto job websites, some for free, some for a fee, which employers go to looking for workers to fill their slots. The second most popular way is you look through ads in job websites looking for workers, and when you see the ones you like, Send them an email of your resume and cover letter, and maybe send them a fax resume too, just to give you some repetitive power, which is the basic tenet of advertising anyway. Do not send the resume as an attachment to the email, both because they sometimes get lost in the transfer, and since viruses are associated with attachments, many people dispose of them without opening them. Send the resume in the main body of the email. Get a simple email name. Just because the e-resume is free is no reason why you should make it longer than normal. Don't get cute with graphics, etc. For the title, use the job you're applying for. Include a cover letter, follow their instructions exactly. The third way is to get a mailing list of all the companies you want to work for, then send an unsolicited bulk emailing of your cover letter and resume to the personnel department and the particular department you want to work for. Some companies may take offense to this, but it's always worth a try. Make sure you don't inadvertently reveal your entire mailing list at the end of the email. It's always best to personalize your cover letters and tell them how much you love the company. If you know somebody who referred you to the company, include their name in your letter. This is sometimes called a referral letter, kind of like Joe Smith, the vice president of sales in your widgets department, suggested I contact you about the position of manager trainee in the sprockets department. The other way is to have your own website, an email autoresponder service and or a fax back service, such that whoever calls up that particular email address or fax number gets a copy of your resume. Keep your email address business-like, like tomthall@aol.com rather than skywarrior@aol.com. Use a cover letter even with electronic resumes. An easy way is just to get a website called tomthall.com or whatever your name is. Put it on all your job-related correspondence, so it's very easy for employers to look up your resume, but be aware that in some industries, the internet is hardly ever used, so don't give up on paper just yet. Generally these days when I see job openings advertised, they usually have a fax number and / or email address, and they expect you to send them your resume electronically right away. When a job is advertised, it's all about speed. Send it as soon as you see it. Job-resources.com is up on the latest electronic resume technology. Keep sending them follow-up e-resumes every month to show them you're still looking for a job. If you get an interview or a job offer, send an acceptance or decline email /fax /letter right away. Once you get a job, send letters thanking anyone who might have helped you get it. It will help them think well of you if you need their help again. Don't fill an e-resume with graphics and fancy formatting. It's irrelevant and could make it more difficult to download. ASCII is the simplest format around, with characters are universally recognized so that any computer can understand them. To create an ASCII file, simply save your file in that format from your word processing program. Use a font size of 11 to 14 points. 12 point is considered standard. The word wrap function doesn't operate in ASCII, so don't exceed 65 characters per line. Since there is no formatting in ASCII, use asterisks, plus signs, or capital letters when you want to highlight something. Minimize the use of abbreviations. Email your resume to yourself to see how it goes through. Because of the problems of viruses, don't send the resume in the form of an attachment unless an employer specifically requests that you do it this way. Keep two versions of your resume, a scannable version and a traditional one that people actually read, as opposed to scanning it into a computer. Take a traditional copy to your interview. Rather than sending out resumes one by one, you either post your resume here and employers come to look, or some of these places offer a service something like spam. They'll email your e-resume to their mailing list of recruiters and companies in a particular sector. We know that employers and headhunters have anti-spam software on their computers geared to delete unapproved emails. The best you can do is to write an interesting subject line and hope the person decides to read it. Your e-resume should be a bit more interesting than the average, generic one. Email job hunting. You can send an email made up of a cover letter and your resume to companies, but it should be short, brief, power-packed, and be addressed to specific people, or at least to a specific department, either human resources / personnel management or the specific department you want to work for. You should try to do some research on the company to find specific names of people, because if you don't, your email will either go to the company webmaster or some secretary who quickly deletes anything that's not immediately relevant to the business at hand, because they're always swamped with work and they're lazy anyway. Another unsolicited e-resume just means more work for them if they're to print it out then route it to the correct department. It's much easier to press the delete button. In order for the email to get opened and read, everything has to be exemplary and compact. Tailor your email to them. Use their company name in the cover letter with a comment about their business performance to make it seem like you've been following them in the media, even if you could care less. Make it seem like you've got something that can help them. Your headline, lead and sig files all have to be enticing in order to grab their attention. Don't use the symbol in your email. It's a red flag for spam and will probably be deleted by their spam filter. You have to either brag about yourself, or if you're too modest for that, put your best foot forward. Be modest but shine through it too. Your immediate mission is to make your email so enticing that they want to read it, then call you up to offer you an interview. You have to do this with substance, not hype. There is no set formula on how to do this except to be honest and write from the heart. Put your resume right after your cover letter, not as an attachment, because attachments are usually deleted because they are thought to be ads for something. The whole thing should be no more than 3 pages in Times New Roman font 14. Put it in either rich text format or MS Word. Remember, the email must be short, concise, and enticing. Provide information about your specific accomplishments. Don't just list your generic job titles or the formal education you have. Think like the employer does. What can you say in your cover letter to make him or her think that you sound like you know the field? Appeal to their emotions, tell a short story but be believable. If you use hype, most can sense that and reject you upfront, but even if they don't, when they meet you for the interview, you're toast. Put a phone number, a fax number if you have one, and your email address down. Your street address is not necessary. Look at your email resume as an ad. Constantly revise it to make it sound better. You are like a corporate brand when looking for work. You have to brand yourself into the image you want to be. Watch how they market movies into a quick 30-second ad. They brand it with one simple statement like a fun, goofy, romantic comedy or a high-action thriller. Read my business book for more details. When you brand yourself, you make all your correspondence look alike, the same message, the same font, the same color background, etc. Make your business cards, email messages, personal website, resume, and cover letter all the same style. Make one master copy of your email, then change it a bit to suit every query you send out. Look for good email management software or share that can help you keep several copies of your email on record and change them quickly if you want to. Don't underestimate the subject line. It has to be bang on in order to elicit interest. Make your subject clear. Use a process called a multi-pair message, which is an email that contains 2 versions, HTML and text. When it arrives, the computer software of the receiver displays it in whichever format it's programmed for. If you have a personal website, put a prominent link in your email plus your website name in your contact information. Make your website works good on the big 3 browsers, Internet Explorer, Netscape, and Mozilla Firefox. Don't use graphics in your email because when they're processed on many computers, they don't show up as a graphic image but as a bunch of garbage text. You're projecting the image of your future potential benefit to them. Be professional but not so professional that you come off like a technocratic robot. You have to be personable and personal too. There is multimedia software on the market like Astound and PowerPoint that can help you present your e-resume as a short audio-visual presentation with pictures and you talking. It's just a file that the receiver opens through either Windows Media Player or Real Player. Employers don't care about you personally. They care about what can you do for them. They don't necessarily want a generic person, although some do because they just want a servant who obeys them, but in the creative, technical fields, they want a maverick with original ideas. When you do a telephone query as a follow-up to your letter, email, or resume, don't be sheepish or apologetic as though you feel like you're wasting their time. You're looking for a job. This is within the bounds of normal assertive protocol, so present yourself as a worthy candidate looking for work. Don't make your resume generic. Add some off-color to it, make it an original design, original content, or something like that. You don't have to follow the formulas. Don't use acronyms or netiquette terms in your resumes. Use the long form or words and terms. Most employers and recruiters use filtering software that relegates email perceived as spam into a garbage folder which they can look at if they want or delete immediately. Because of this, when the recruiter goes to look at these low-priority emails, he looks at the headings only. If your heading says something like "resume for your consideration," if this guy or gal are savvy, they will make the inference that you must be pretty generic to have a header like that, so they will press the delete button. You're not doing them a favor by sending them your resume, or at least they don't know that yet. You need to show in your subject line that you can help this employer. It's your headline for an interesting story. You try to direct it personally at a person's name or at least a job position rather than to a generic company name. Come off like a visionary on fire for your work and your field. Create a job profile / keywords in your profession. On some websites, you create a job profile of yourself that employers can look at. It's another type of resume. Just put descriptive info though. Don't put your social security number, date of birth, etc. on it, because someone can easily steal it for identity theft. The thing is that most hard copy and e-resumes are scanned by a computer. If a boss at company X is looking for someone from any profession, there are at the most about 5 keywords or key terms that describe or name any profession. Figure out the several different names your profession goes by and make sure you embed them into your resume or job profile. Tagcrowd.com, wordly.net, jobster.com/@/person/edit_profile. E-resume websites. Use discretion when disclosing personal information and resumes on internet job sites. Some of these websites tell you how to create an e-resume and how to send it. Others offer to write one for you for a fee. ResumeWorded.com, ResumeWorded, AI-based platform, instantaneous feedback on your resume. AcornCreative.com, ResumeArc.com, AnAmericanResume.com, AutoResume.com, e-resume.net, 888-277-5550, e-resume.us, eResumeIQ.com, eResumeIQ.com/links.html, e-resumes.biz, eResumes.com. The job search email correspondence. A professional tone should be maintained when communicating with prospective employers. Email mistakes leave a bad impression. Get your point across, then end the email. Use a meaningful subject header for your email that is appropriate to the topic. Always be professional and businesslike in your correspondence. Address the recipient as Mr., Ms., or Mrs. And verify the correct spelling of the recipient's name. Be brief. Do not use email slang symbols in your email communications with business people. Do not use strange fonts, wallpapers, or multicolored backgrounds. Sign your email with your full name. Proofread and spell check your email before sending it. Present a polished, professional image. Email thank you notes. If you've had an interview with a prospective employer, you could send a thank you note by email a day or two after your interview. Keep it short. I just wanted to send a quick note to thank you for yesterday's interview. I feel that I can be a good asset to your organization. I appreciate the opportunity to be considered for employment at ABC Corporation. Sincerely, John Doe. Chapter 3. The Video Resume. CD/DVD/video resume/Vesume. You could make up a CD/DVD or USB drive with you on it talking. Identify yourself, then talk about what you've done. Edit in some pictures of your work, Action shots of you or people saying what a great worker you are. End it with a graphic of your contact info. They say that the video resume is not you talking about what you've done all your life. It's a short introduction of yourself with no long-winded diatribe. If you send an unintentionally funny video resume around, somebody could post it to YouTube, then the TV stations might get it and broadcast it as a joke. Lifehacker.com/399645/snag-that-job-interview-with-a-video-resume. BarneysVideoResume.com. VideoResumes.com. VideoResumes.tv. VitaeResumesecrets.com. Video resume website /video resume bank websites. The following websites say they're like YouTube but for video resumes only. They say employers look for employees here. You create an internet resume with a PDF or HTTP text file, then add video, pictures, a slideshow, etc. Giggedup.com, post video resumes of yourself for prospective employers to search. InternetResume.com. BlazitResume.com. DoyoUbuzz.com. The personal bio video as an icon or website on your resume. As far as I know, this works for jobs where the employer is looking for personality like hospitality, nonprofits or education. You make a personal biography video over and above a video resume. You say, this is who I am like. I traveled to 22 countries, show stills and video. I ride horses. I have a dog called Bobby. This is my mother. I volunteer at the soup kitchen. I go to this church. You post it up online. You either put an icon on a video resume or put the website down on a resume. Employers can look at it if they want. YouTube job search. You can upload a video resume of yourself, then put a link to it on your resume. If you're into your field, set up an entire YouTube channel where you develop a reputation as an expert in your field. If you have a professional website, put a link to your YouTube channel on it. Chapter 4. Curriculum Vitae /CV Guide. Resume Packet /Resume Portfolio. Buy cheap folders at stationery shops. A resume packet is your resume, cover letter, letters of recommendation, photo print, business card, and anything else you want all in one envelope. Take it with you to hand out at job interviews. Curriculum Vitae /CV Info. A CV, short for Curriculum Vitae, is a life story which some organizations will want you to write for them, several pages describing your life. Your CV is a document that showcases your USPs, unique selling points. There's no universal format, but your CV should cover your name, address, phone number, email address, and a personal statement, one paragraph describing who you are. Talk about the following things any way you see fit. Work experience, education, skills, hobbies and interests, references. Your curriculum vitae is a mix of a resume and cover letter done in a more creative, personable, detailed way. It is a profile of your life achievements and interests, usually geared for academic performance. A CV is mainly used for applying to graduate school or an academic type of job. Put your name on the header of each page. Etiquette demands we be modest, but you have to show off what you did. List your achievements using the STAR technique. Situation, provide a brief overview of the situation. Task, outline the specific task or responsibility you were asked to accomplish. Action, explain the action or activities you took and why. Result, describe the positive result or outcome of your actions. Don't list anything past 10 years. Spell out everything, even acronyms. Don't use jargon or slang. Be clear and simple. Use a bullet style, short points. Keep your CV to no more than 2 pages. Keep it short and interesting. Look at the biographies in the Who's Who books at the library. Find them at #920-#929 at the library. VisualCV.com, create curriculum vitae online. CurriculumVitae.com. thecvstore.net, thecvblog.com. Chapter 5. Cover Letter Guide. Cover Letter Info. It's not about you. It's about what you can do for them. Resumes are generic, but a good manager or HR person will smell a form cover letter within 10 seconds of reading it. If that's how much effort you put into a personal application to that particular company, that's how much effort they will give to hiring you. Personalize your cover letters. You will need a cover letter whenever you send a resume or application form to a potential employer. The letter should capture the employer's attention, show why you are writing, indicate why your employment will benefit the company, and ask for an interview. The kind of specific information that must be included in a cover letter means that each must be written individually and typed perfectly. Frequently only the address, first paragraph, and specifics concerning an interview will vary. These items are easily changed on your word processing program. The purpose of these letters is to tell how your job talents will benefit the company, show why the employer should read your resume or application form, and ask for a job interview. The general steps are: write a separate letter for each job application. Type letters on quality 8x11 paper. Use proper sentence structure, correct spelling and punctuation. Convey personal warmth and enthusiasm. Keep your letter short and to the point. Sell yourself with hype. Flatter their company by showing how you watched it in the stock market or something like that. Sign it personally. Show that you've done some homework on the company, you know what they do, their interests and problems. Try to identify something about you that is unique or of interest to the employer. Request an interview. If possible, suggest a specific date and time. Include your address and your telephone number. Address each letter to the specific person you want to talk to, the person who would actually supervise you. Highlight your job qualifications. State the position you are seeking and the source of the job opening, newspaper ad, friend, etc. Include this short cover letter with your resume introducing yourself, stating your interest in working for the company and expanding on some of the points in the resume. Many people dismiss the cover letter as an obligatory piece of paper to include with their resumes. Some people don't even send cover letters with their resumes, which is a big mistake. Don't use your cover letter as a dull piece of crud like "enclosed is my resume. Please accept my resume in consideration. I'm interested in working." You have to tell them who you are and what kind of job you want. The cover letter is your personality and ability. Sell yourself. The letter should say meet me, I'm a cool person, great for the job. Take the ball from the passive court where you're waiting for the phone call to write in your cover letter that you will call in 7 days to confirm receipt of your letter and to ask if they're interested in an interview. The cover letter is a warm handshake telling them how they can benefit from you. Show them you're a high-energy person with a strong personality without being arrogant or too clever. You tell them what you can do for them. Once again, use some tidbits of your research to flatter them a little that you know about them. Be a name dropper like, "Joe Gibbs from the marketing department told me there were some challenging jobs in your department." There are different types of cover letters. One is in response to an ad. Another is a network letter where you talk to everyone you know and simply send out letters using their names as a kind of introductory letter about yourself. Finally, many desperados get the names of 500 corporations and send out blind spam letters about themselves, often without any success. You have to be outstanding to get responses with blind spam letters. Your purpose is to get a job, so word it aggressively and talk to a real, live person, which means don't make it too stiff and formal. Bottom line, tailoring your resumes and cover letters to each company you're applying to beats the blind approach every day, hands down. In a nutshell, the purpose of cover letters is to tell how your job talents will benefit the company. Show why the employer should read your resume or application form. Ask for a job interview. The cover letter includes salutation. Each letter should be addressed by name to the person you want to talk with. That person is the one who can hire you. This is almost certainly not someone in the personnel department, and it is probably not a department head either. It is most likely to be the person who will actually supervise you once you start work. Call the company to make sure you have the right name and spell it correctly. Opening. The opening should appeal to the reader. Cover letters are sales letters. Sales are made after you capture a person's attention. You capture the reader's attention most easily by talking about the company rather than yourself. Mention projects under development, recent awards, or favorable comments recently published about the company. You can find such information in the business press, including the business section of local newspapers and the many magazines that are devoted to particular industries. If you are answering an ad, you may mention it. If someone suggested that you write, use their name with permission, of course. Body. The body of the letter gives a brief description of your qualifications and refers to the resume, where your sales campaign can continue. Closing. You cannot have what you do not ask for. At the end of the letter, request an interview. Suggest a time and state that you will confirm the appointment. Use a standard complimentary close such as "Sincerely yours." Leave 3 or 4 lines for your signature and type your name. I would type my phone number under my name. The alternative is to place the phone number in the body of the letter, but it will be more difficult to find there should the reader wish to call you. A letter of introduction is when some high-profile person like a professor or president of a company writes what amounts to a glowing recommendation of you, saying he knew you for X number of years, you worked on the X project with him, you're a good, pleasant person and an expert in your field, and says you'd be a good worker. Then include it with your resume. Cover letter websites. Try 808.0666 or HF5383 at the library for books about cover letters. careerlab.com/letters/default.htm, CareerLab, cover letter samples. Damngood.com, damn good. myfuture.com/toolbox/cover letter_all.html. bestcoverletters.com. cover-letter-resource.com. opencoverletters.com. thebalancecareers.com/free-cover-letter-writing-tips-20602008. Chapter 6. A portfolio to showcase your work, physical and online. Career portfolio/website portfolio 1. A portfolio is a representative sample of your best work in your field. A portfolio is a collection of your work. Portfolios are the pictorial resumes people in jobs like architecture, drafting, graphic arts, illustrator, cartoonist, model, artist, journalist, writer and others in the creative arts do to demonstrate some of their work. It's a file either in hard copy or e-form that documents your past work, usually paintings, drawings, or photographs. Some people put their portfolio up on the website, then give the website name in a short resume or introductory letter. People use them to apply for admissions to artsy technical type colleges and to look for work. In these areas, people want proof of what you can do. You have to show them some of your work. There are 2 types of portfolios. 1. A paper one. 2. An electronic one, either on CD or a website. With a paper one, you have to prepare a folder where you put everything in. These are almost identical to the press kits almost everybody uses in the entertainment industry to promote themselves, except that in this case, the product is you. You're selling yourself. The most common folder I've seen used is a folder with inside flaps on both sides where you put in your content. Typically, you'd put in a resume, cover letter, some reference letters, a copy of your diplomas, a photograph for entertainment types, and either prints or copies of your work or a CD with your work on it. The entertainment types like to put cool-looking covers on their portfolios, like the name of their band with a symbol on it or a cool-looking drawing or photograph. Probably the easiest way to create a portfolio is to send around a resume with a cover letter like everybody else does, but also direct the person to your website, which is your career portfolio. It has a photo of you on it, your resume, cover letter and reference letters, but it also shows examples of your work, either prints if you're a graphic artist, text if you're a writer or journalist, and video if you're an anchor, teacher, etc. Have your website with 4 or 5 icons such that the viewer can click on any one he wants, either your resume, cover letter, work examples, etc. People have a tendency to go overboard on their career websites with elaborate essays about who they are, their work philosophy, and what they want to do. Don't overdo it. Stay professional. Talk about what you did, not what you want to do. Career portfolio / website portfolio 2. A resume lists your work experience and skills. A portfolio might include a page for your work history, but it primarily includes examples of what you do. If you do an action thing, make a DVD about it, like show how you built a part of a house for a contractor. Collect and catalog your best work. Plan your portfolio. Assemble it. If it's something like artwork or even projects you've done, like for an architect, buildings you've designed, you can put them all on a DVD or on a website. Your portfolio gives a detailed picture of what you're capable of, unlike a resume which doesn't show what you can actually do. Showcase your skills so the employer knows you can do what he wants. Many job seekers don't provide a portfolio. It's to your advantage if you do in a creative field. The items in your portfolio are called articles. You keep adding to them as you live your life. You could tailor your portfolio to the particular job you're applying for. Here are some items you can include in a portfolio. Anything you've created. Audio recordings. Brochures describing a product or service you've created. Certificates, licenses and awards. Computer disks with samples of your work, publications, databases, or computer programs you've created. Course descriptions of classes you've taken or taught. Formal evaluations of your work. Job descriptions of positions you've held. Letters of recommendation. Link to your website or a copy of it. Lists of grants, scholarships, and awards. List of organizations you've joined. Newspaper and magazine articles about projects you've been in. Projects you've done. Resumes or a curriculum vitae. Sheet music or scores. Video of artistic performances or exhibitions. Visual art including drawings, photographs, etc. Writing samples, such as school essays, manuscripts for articles and books, and published pieces. Order and arrange your artifacts for maximum aesthetic effect. Put your best work up front. If you've worked with different themes, keep these categories separate, like for artwork, keep one section for landscapes and one for portraits. You can organize your portfolio as follows. A table of contents. An overview or summary of the portfolio. Titles and captions for each artifact. An index to your artifacts. You could combine your resume and portfolio into one document. Your interviewer or interviewing board might ask you to present your portfolio as part of an interview or oral exam. Present it as a PowerPoint presentation. Prepare some answers to possible questions. Career portfolio websites. Portfolio.fsu.edu. career.fsu.edu/experience/document/portfolio-guide.html, career portfolio preparation. Portfoliocity.com. Portfolios.com. Portfoliow.com. Portfolio products websites. OfficeDepot.com. PearlPaint.com. Credential filing services. Submit your application stuff there, then a potential employer can go there to access your portfolio, etc. Interafolio.com. ChronicleVitae.com. Resume websites. Resume writing books are at 650.14 or HF 5383 at the library. careercenter.georgetown.edu/major-career-guide/resumes-cover-letters, resumes, cover letters. Jobline.net/resume1.htm. ResumeDictionary.com. GreatSampleResume.com. employment911.com/asp/resume-writing_dir.asp owl.english.purdue.edu/arl/resource/719/01 Resume Online Workshop freersumesamples.org writing.colostate.edu/guide/documents/resume Resume Writing Guide writing-my-resumes.com Many resume websites at dmoz-odp.org/business/employment/resumes_and_portfolios. Resume software websites. ResumeMaker.com, software. ExpertSoftware.com/resume. MySoftware.com. Resume writing websites at blog.feedspot.com/resume_writing_blogs. Resume distribution services. CustomDatabanks.com, custom databanks. ResumeRabbit.com, Resume Rabbit. Resume Builder templates at jobstars.com/resume-builders-templates. jobstars.com/tag/resume-writing. canva.com/templates/resume/professional. creddle.io. cv-template.com. freesumes.com. A free tool and resume service at livecareer.com/build-resume.